Welcome to the Lawson Addins for Microsoft Excel training video. This tutorial provides an overview of the capabilities of Addins, a demonstration of the query and upload wizards, Addins tips and tricks, and answers to some frequently asked questions. Throughout the tutorial, Microsoft Addins will also be referred to as Addins or MS Addins. What are Lawson Addins? MS Addins is an add-on program that allows the integration of Lawson applications with Microsoft Excel. There are two wizards that provide simple ways to query and upload data to the Lawson applications. Using Addins to view historical data or upload transactions will increase your efficiency and put an end to manually entering large amounts of data into the application. The Lawson Query Wizard lets you extract specific data from the Lawson applications into an Excel spreadsheet. When using the Query Wizard to extract data, you have the ability to format the data, set selection criteria, sort results, and perform calculations in one easy-to-read output file. The Lawson Upload Wizard allows you to load Excel spreadsheet data directly into specified application fields. Using the Upload Wizard eliminates the need to manually enter data into the application screens. Now that we understand what the Query and Upload Wizards are used for, we will demonstrate how to access MS Addins. Before you can use Addins, some level of setup may be required. You will know if setup is required when you open up Microsoft Excel. If you see a tab titled Addins on the ribbon and you see an add-in called Lawson, you have MS Addins installed. If you do not have an Addins tab on your ribbon, let's try to add it. In your Excel window, right-click on any other tab and select Customize the ribbon. Make sure the Addins box is checked. If you do not have an Addins box available, you will need to contact support to have Addins installed on your local machine. Once you have Addins installed, we will need to know the server address before being able to sign in. To look up the server address, open your web browser and navigate to the Lawson sign-in page. Copy everything from the beginning of the web address and stop right before the /Lawson/portal. The next step is to paste this information into the server field. Go back to Excel, click on the Lawson drop-down menu, and select Query Wizard. Now paste the server information you just copied and enter in your username and password. The sign-in for the Query and Upload Wizards are identical. You will use the same server address for both wizards and the same user ID and password you normally use to log into Lawson. Click OK. Using the Query Wizard. In this section, we will provide an overview of the Query Wizard and demonstrate how it is used. In our example, we will use it to query data for invoices paid for a vendor during a specific year. Before starting to build our query, let's look at a finished query to better show what our results will look like. Since we will be building a query to view invoices paid for a vendor during a specific year, notice the column headers. Suppose these are the fields we are interested in selecting. When you open the Query Wizard, you will notice a series of buttons and tabs. The buttons at the top of the screen are useful for opening a saved query file, saving a query file, viewing the last sent request for a query command, setting a timeout for data retrieval, and also viewing Query Wizard help. The tabs will help you to engineer the query. The Welcome tab is the first tab you will see when logging into Addins. We will select a query source from two available choices. The source will define the screen options you see on the subsequent wizard screens. Database tables use a data service or DME call to directly access stored data. When using database tables, you can query all the fields in a table rather than searching for specific fields on an individual Lawson form. Querying from database tables is recommended. You can also link fields in related tables. Lawson application uses a transaction server or an AGS call to access stored data. When using this method to search application data, you must select a specific Lawson form from which to query data. It also limits your query to fields available on that form only. After selecting a query source, click the Next button to advance. The Fields tab is where we begin to build the query. Begin by double-clicking the name of your product line. Notice how a list of system codes expands as a result of selecting a product line. If you are unsure which system code to select, you can use the Table Prefix Translation tool to help find the correct system code and table. To use the translation tool, you must know or find the table prefix in the Lawson application itself. For example, let's go into the Lawson portal. In the search box, we will enter AP20. Next, click on the field you would like to query the data from. Once that field is selected, press Ctrl-Shift-O. The output will appear in the lower left corner of your browser. You will need the 3-character prefix at the beginning. Enter this into the prefix field to find the system code and table. Double-click on the system code to expand the tables contained within a module. Single-click on the table name to view all the fields within the table. Double-click on the name of the field so they move to the Selected Fields window. The order in which you select the fields are the order in which they will appear on your spreadsheet. Each field will represent a column header. In the Selected Field window, you can rearrange the order of the field names by clicking on the name of the field and then clicking on the field you want to put it in front of. If you wish to add fields from an additional table, you can do so by selecting the Relations button. For example, if we are interested in pulling information from the vendor master or purchase order that are related to these invoices, double-click on the table you wish to make a relation to and then select all of the desired fields. When you are finished, click Done. When all of the fields have been added, click the Next button to advance. The Column Headings tab displays all the field names that were selected. If you wish to change the names of any of the fields, double-click on the name and type the desired name in the new heading field, then click OK. Remember, these are the column headers that will appear on your spreadsheet. Click the Next button to advance. After selecting the fields to query, you may want to limit the search to a range of data you want to display. The Criteria tab contains parameters you can use to further define the query. Use an index to limit the query search to a predefined set of fields. Using an index is recommended and typically results in the fastest query because the DME call skips fields that are not specified in the index. Index values must be populated in the sequence they appear and cannot be skipped. For example, you can enter company or company and vendor to limit the query to data within this range. You must enter all preceding values before you can enter something lower on the list. Use a condition to limit the query to a certain range of data. Available conditions display in the conditions list. An index must be selected before a condition can be used. Only data that meets the condition specified will be selected in the query. Use the maximum primary record to return and the maximum one-to-many values to return options to control the number of values your query returns. Use the selection criteria to choose the exact ranges or values to display in your results. Note that the criteria values must have been chosen on the Fields tab and appear as a column on the spreadsheet before you can use them here. The AND/OR operation is used to link multiple criteria. Other operands used in the criteria include equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, like, or not like. Maximum primary records to return field sets the maximum number of primary records to return. The default number is 600. If you enter 0 in this field, the maximum number of records to return is unlimited or otherwise limited by your version of Excel. The Subtotals tab can be used to set up simple calculations if your data is numerical. Subtotals work in the same way they do in Excel. The Sort tab can be used to sort your data alphabetically or numerically once the wizard has queried the data into Excel. There are two ways to sort data. If you use an index to define the data selection criteria, the data appears in the worksheet in the same order that the fields appear in the index. If you did not use an index or would like to override the sort order defined in the index, use the Sort tab to determine the order for the data. The sort options in the Query Wizard work exactly like they do in Excel. Click the Next button to advance. The Format tab allows you to add a title to your worksheet and lets you define how you want it to look. You can use select standard Excel worksheet formats for the table format list. To preview a format, click the View Formats button. Click the Next button to advance. Once you have chosen a format for your query, use the Workbook tab to define where your results should go. The two available options are to display the data in a workbook you currently have open or to display the data in a saved workbook. You are able to define the sheet number, starting column, and starting row for the selected workbook. You also have the ability to clear data from the selected worksheet before generating a new one. At this point, you can continue to the Map Wizard tab to map drill around fields. Click the Finish button to run your query, or save the query. If you will need to run the same query at a later date, you can save the parameters and criteria of the query as a .dme file. To save a query, click the disk icon in the top left corner of the Query Wizard window, and save the file in a place you will remember. Note that this will not save the query results, but rather specifications and layout of the data you want to query. Finally, we will click Finish to view the query results. Using the Upload Wizard. Next, we will discuss the Upload Wizard and demonstrate how to build and submit an upload file. The Upload Wizard provides a quick and easy way to move data from Excel into Lawson Forms, so you do not have to manually enter the data. The Upload Wizard can be used to add, change, or delete records from Lawson Forms. When you know the form to which data will be uploaded, it will be very helpful to map the columns prior to opening the Upload Wizard. To map your columns, log into the Lawson portal and navigate to the form to which data will be uploaded. In our example, we will search for Journal Entry. Each column of your spreadsheet will represent a field on the form. Your upload must contain all of the required fields for a form, plus any additional fields you wish to include. Basically, any data that you would manually enter on the form will need to have a column mapped, including the line function code. Use the Ctrl-Shift-O function to look up the F number that corresponds to each field. Then enter the F number into the appropriate field. Alternatively, use Ctrl-Shift-V to determine the keys collected and required keys for a form. When you initially sign in to the Upload Wizard, you will receive a caution message. Click the message to acknowledge it. Enter the same login credentials as you did in the Query Wizard. The Welcome tab is the first screen you will see once you have successfully logged into the Upload Wizard. You will be greeted with a welcome message. This message is basically saying that you won't be able to upload data to Lawson Forms using the Upload Wizard that you wouldn't normally be able to add manually to the Lawson Forms. Let's click Next to begin mapping our columns. At the next window, double-click on the product line to which you will be uploading data. A list of system codes will expand. Scroll through and double-click the system code of the form you wish to populate with the upload. In our example, we are using the GL system code and the GL40.1 form. We will be loading lines to an existing journal rather than loading the journal header itself. Notice that after you select a form, the number of mapped fields available directly correlates to the number of column headers that have text in them. Click on the Lawson field and select the F number that corresponds to the column header on your upload sheet. Repeat for all columns that will be uploaded. Before trying to upload the entire sheet, it is best practice to upload a couple of rows at first. To edit the number of rows uploaded, enter a range in the Data Goes From fields. Depending on how you map your columns, the data will typically begin on row 2. Back on the portal, we need to define a journal. Click the New JE button. Enter the company, year, period, and system. The journal number will auto-populate once it's added. We will add a description by copying it from our Excel document. Finally, click the Add button. It will take you back to the journal entry form. The journal number has been populated. Add the journal number to the Excel document. Before you click Next, make sure the data range is entered correctly. Then click Next to continue. On the Upload tab, we will select an upload option before initializing the wizard. The available options are Add, then Change. The Upload wizard attempts to add the data to the mapping field. If it cannot add data, it attempts to change existing data. Add Only. The Upload wizard attempts to add the data. Change Only. The Upload wizard attempts to change the data. Delete Only. The Upload wizard attempts to delete all associated data with this record. A small number of Lawson applications require an inquiry function prior to editing records. Select this option to ignore a preemptive inquiry on such forms. Under Other Options, we will always select Let Addins Decide. Click the Upload button. An indicator shows the progress of the upload. After the upload has finished running, check the column labeled Results from GL40.1. Validate or spot check Add Complete Continue messages to ensure the data has indeed been uploaded into the Lawson application. Investigate and update any error messages. Remember to change your data rows on the Map Columns tab if you need to run the upload again for rows that errored out. To save the upload file, click the disk icon in the top left and save the .uwf file. This will save time in the future from having to map columns for GL40.1 uploads. This concludes our video presentation. Feel free to replay this presentation at any time.